Welcome back, everyone, for another round of Planet Nomads. Today, I'm going to start a new project. I've been talking for a while about doing a mobile base, and the problem I've always had in the game is designing vehicles. It really just is something that I have struggled with ever since I started playing this and trying to make my own designs. But I've gotten a lot better recently with base designs, and so playing with the Warthog the other day, I mentioned the shield helicarrier, and it got me thinking about the designs in the game where we have mobile bases that are vehicles, and we have mobile bases that are bases with air blades slapped on them so they can move. But I haven't seen anything that I was able to find on the workshop that's a good blending point of both styles. So what I want to build, and this is something I'm sure we would have in the workshop if we were able to leave the planet, I want to focus on something that's kind of a space station. You know, it looks like a base, but it's obviously meant also to be a floating base. So I'm going to build something, and we're going to start it today, and it's going to be a lot of work because I've got so many things I want to do with it. I want to have big landing pads for vehicles. I want to have maybe hangar bays for smaller vehicles, for cargo stuff. But the idea is I'm going to build a design that has base-like qualities, but is also clearly meant to be a floating base space station type thing. And once you launch it, it does not land again. So, of course, I have a lot of supplies going, and to make it easier to have room to work, I built a nice long extension out here, and I've built this tall piece here because I want to have kind of the central hub where you have your main production area, you know, refinery, or, well, the 3D printers, maybe greenhouses, stuff like that. Below that, refineries and power, and they have like a spike coming down on the bottom. So I want to have plenty of room to build downwards, and then of course as I go, at some point I am going to have to build basically where there's something that else supporting this beyond this one, because I'm gonna have to take this out at some point, I'm sure. So I guess I'm gonna start by building on top of this and getting it as close to the middle as possible and start building out from there. And yes, I'm going to use normal foundations because I'm not sure. You know, I do want to be able to handle trunking the conveyor. So yeah, I might just, we'll go ahead. We'll just do all ceiling panels since we don't have any foundation panels that have the conveyor connectors on them. I've actually just changed something here so I can move this out, and I'm going to build up now a little bit higher to make it easier to reach the top area, because I did reach the limit on my range for the item dispenser. And taking this thing off the dispenser and then putting it back, it took about 2 seconds each time because I don't have it tied directly in. Instead, what I did was I built over here to this, and you can see I have it connected by a conveyor connector, which, don't ask me why, I'm not a programmer for the game, but that drastically reduces the amount of time it takes for things to calculate when you break that kind of stuff down. So it ended up making this work really well in terms of just taking those dispensers out and just being like, done. And look, like right here, there we go. That's all it took. Other cases with it all in one big, you know, chain of connections, I've had it sit there for 4 minutes, you know, trying to add something or disconnect something. So breaking stuff up with the conveyor connectors really helps performance on that part. So I've built an 11 by 11 big platform, which I'm thinking it, you know, really wanted to, I could divide it into kind of sectional areas, you know, one for like 3D printers, maybe a second one for more 3D printers, one for greenhouses, one for like autonomous purifiers or refineries. And I started thinking about how am I going to get everybody up and down, you know, between each floor. I've never built an elevator. I really don't like the idea of trying to do an elevator. So of course that means stairs. And part of the problem there is having the space for it. So I don't want to use like the short stubby stairs. That's just, you know, that's just like a waste of space right there when you start stacking those up there. Like, oh yeah, let me toss that in and throw the little rinky-dink connector there, and then throw another set there like that. It's like, why not just save trouble and do the whole thing, you know? Well, now I've expanded to a 15 by 15 platform. I'm all the way to the edge of where I had set up for building. And I feel like maybe that's big enough. At the least, it gives me a little extra room to start playing with in terms of the stairwell and basically having everything kind of go around this central point right here, which is really what I like the idea of. And this gives me room that if I want to, I could have, like, oh, you walk down the stairs and you got this walking space that leads around this, go in here and we do this. And we have railings so we look down and we just have a nice straight column of open space from floor to floor, and it can be used for trunking power and stuff like that up through things. So after a bit of playtesting and just really working with placement and trying to get a nice rotating stairwell look, I ended up with this. So instead of going just one side then the opposite side with a long flat walkway, I actually have this nice curve. Well, you know, cyclical type thing to it. So, you know, what you see in a normal large stairwell in the real world today. So it works decently enough. They actually line up perfectly on the same way, and it leaves a little bit of room. So I actually am not lined up exactly to the floor panels. So I would have, I think maybe another like 2 on each end before I'd have one of the regular floor panels lining up like that. So it ended up being, yeah, it looks about right. Maybe, oh, I'm off a little bit. So I used some pieces of the straight wall to measure up from below and make sure I had the alignment right. And so this is aligned right on how this will work. So coming up from here, yeah, I could have got away with doing something like that, but it would have been all set. I figured just go ahead and make it simpler by doing the filler blocks with the little single armor blocks like that. And so I'd have something that fills in like this along the stairwell area, and then we just, you know, everything else lines up the same way on each floor as much as possible. I'm probably not going to have this as the next floor up, because that's a pretty tall ceiling right there, honestly. I mean, look at that. If I was sitting here and this was the room, I'd be like, why is the ceiling that tall? Why is it up there so high? Why, where is the racks of 3D printers that justifies that ceiling height right there? That's probably not where I'm going to put it. This is probably where I'm going to put it, but just to show how the alignment's going to end up working in the end. Yeah, I'm going to have some filler around the setup here, but in the end, it'll be okay. So now I need to decide which style I want to go with for the outer walls in this. The easiest would, of course, be the standard walls with windows. I mean, it gives kind of that, you know, we're in a production area top look. Not this is a big fancy lookout, but then I like the idea of having the glass, because when we're way up in the air, you know, having a nice view would be nice. Of course, I can only get so far on this one. I'm kind of leaning towards this one because with this, I mean, God, you could, you know, it's like those tall buildings where you could go and lean against the window and look down. Imagine this being, you know, able to look down because the lower level is smaller than this. And so you're basically looking down, seeing just all the terrain from way up in the sky. I really like the idea of this look right here because I'm thinking, I'm not sure how much larger I want to go on the next floor up. This is definitely going to be, you know, I may just stick with this for here and for the level below, because this is production. And what I'll do as the level above is it will be the common room. We'll maybe play with some couch designs, things like that. Just, you know, nice plants decorating the area, things like that. And I'll experiment with something like that because it will look down over the edge of this floor. I think that's what I'm going to do. So I've got a good bit of the now next lowest level kind of laid out. I'm not sure how wide I want to go. I don't want it to be a little bit more compact so that when we look down, we're not possibly, if I do glass, bigger glass than this, I'm not going to see it when I look down. So I want it to kind of collapse inwards like a top kind of, you know, shape to it. And just to make sure I didn't have any problems where I accidentally knocked something, you know, hit the wrong block and cause the whole thing to collapse onto the ground, I went ahead and added some more support struts. Plus, I'm going to probably be doing some rearranging here in the middle, trying to figure out how I want to do the stairwell. If I want it to be covered floor after floor, or if I want it to be where you could actually look down, like in very tall buildings, look down and see stairs all the way down to the bottom, and possibly throw yourself down there or be thrown off, you know, the stairwell by Batman, and, you know, if you're the Joker or something like that. So if I go with an open stairwell, then I'm gonna have a big open spot in the middle, which means I basically walk out, and this is going to be the amount of space I have allotted for right now if I don't extend by another one on each side, and then I'll just have this kind of outline going around there. You know, being able to actually walk down and be like, all right, how's this gonna feel? I'm gonna walk through a door here and bam. Yeah, I don't have that much room here. I feel like I need to add some more. All right, so I'm heading down to the next level. That's blocked off. I walk through the doorway and yeah, that actually works. I think that's good enough because this is going to be power and refineries. This is not going to be something that I need a huge amount of space. And the reason I went ahead and built down to this level is I kind of want this to be the starting point for all the conveyors, because it's basically going to branch upwards from here, you know? So instead of it being, I start in the middle and have to work my way down, then work my way back up, reconfigure things, I think I just want to try to get this level focused on and built out before I do the production level. That way, it's like, okay, here's all the, you know, like the generators all tied in, the refineries all tied in, everything's connected, and now I just have to connect to the next floor up. And then from there, I build to the next floor up, and so on. So yeah, there I go. I think this is actually going to be enough space. I mean, in the end, I'm going to have this all filled in. I'll either have railings or a wall there. I'm kind of leaning towards wall to separate this out, and that's a perfect fit right there. And just, you know, have this walled off. You walk in, you got access to all the refineries, and I really don't know what the power requirements will be, but I'm thinking probably 4 of each for deuterium, large deuterium, for uranium, and then, you know, I had originally kind of planned for a central room kind of thing where in the middle was the refineries, but I never took into account when I was thinking about that the stairwell. And I actually do like the stairwell, so I think it'll end up being a case of like, all right, here's the generators for deuterium, here's the uranium generators, there's a set of refineries, and here's a set of refineries. Because, you know, if you were to play this co-op, you'd have room for more than one person to come in and be able to set some stuff going. So in the end, I'm going to have landing pads. I'm going to have big hangars, and at some point you're going to land, you're going to get out of your vehicle, stretch my legs, all right, I'm going to walk inside, and you're going to walk down, and we'll be like, oh, here's the, you know, common room area, come in here, cafeteria, get a bite to eat, just relax for a bit, and then we come on down to here, and you're like, oh yeah, walk into here, this is the main production facility, and we have it kind of split into quadrants, so like, oh, walk in, and oh, over here is some, we have medium 3D printers all scattered around this area, so you have different groups of them, so you can be like, it's like washing machines at a laundromat. You go over there and you claim a few. These are mine. You go use those because you came later. I got here first. And then we'll have, you know, like over here, maybe the greenhouses for producing some food stuff. Over there, the autonomous water purifier, so you don't have to worry about burning through your carbon to create purified water. And then, of course, you walk on down, la, la, la. You're coming down here. You walk through the door, and you're in the energy and maintenance area. It's like, oh, look, you know, there's some refineries right here. And then, oh, bam, look at that. Oh, all the uranium generators. Okay, let me run around here. I have all the deuterium generators. Oh, hey, more refineries over there. You know, something like that. Maybe something different. I don't know. We might add some extra autonomous water purifiers over there for more purified water production for deuterium. And then we'd continue down, and whenever it's built, then this will be like the true maintenance area. This really small room that's basically like, here's a couple of maybe some switches just for the outside stuff. Like, I like the idea of, I build this little room and I have maybe underneath this on each side, one radar dish just for cosmetics, and then we have the big beacon. Let's see, where is that beacon? The big one, yeah, like that. Have one of these plugged in, aimed straight down from the middle, pointed that way. And depending on how I do the middle of the stairwell, I might put one there and just have it shoot all the way up through the top as well. So we'll have like two of them going different directions. It'd be like, Darth Maul's lightsaber. So yeah, the structure is started, but this is going to be a really big project. What you see right now is not as wide as this going to be. Think of a top. It's going to get really wide at the top, in a big cone type shape, and it's going to top off, and we'll have a little command tower up there, and that's basically the shape. I'm going for really big. We're going to have landing pads, docking bays, stuff like that up higher than what I've got here. So this is going to be a long project. This is going to definitely break down into a lot of episodes, a lot of different pieces, getting it all set together. And once the structure's built, I still have to figure out how to make it fly and then actually move in a certain direction. So that's going to be the really fun part. But that's going to be it for this episode of Planet Nomads. So if you like what I'm doing, if you enjoyed the episode, hit that like button. Leave me a comment and let me know if you have any suggestions or what you think of the design, the idea I have for the space station type look. Let me know in the comment below. And of course, hit subscribe if you haven't done so already. As always, I'm your host, Mr. Spicy. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to keep it spicy this week, and I'll see you in the next video.